How's it going, everyone? Garrett O'Leary here with the O'Leary Brothers team with Lead Realty. Now that the first quarter of 2022 is firmly behind us, I wanted to go over some of the things that we saw and experienced to hopefully get an idea on where we're going and what we can expect from the second quarter and beyond for the real estate market. So let's get into it. All right, to get things started, let me kind of give you a general overview on what I'm going to be talking about. So in the first quarter, we saw the number of listings continue to decrease. We saw listing prices actually still remain stable, which is good. We saw the absorption rate actually decrease below 1 month, and the sold to list ratio is actually edging back closer to 100%. Now, if you want to know what these mean and how they affect buyers and sellers, you'll want to stick around for the whole video. All right, so let's talk about the first thing, and that is the number of listings. So typically, as summer approaches, the number of listings tends to increase, but as we know, the last few years have been anything but typical. So as you can see from the chart that's on your screen right now, the number of listings has continued to decrease over the past quarter as well as even before that. So even though the number of listings is decreasing, you'll kind of notice on that graph that the slope is starting to kind of level out, which means that we could be potentially looking at kind of what the summer usually offers, that increase in listings, which is hopefully the case. Now, how does this affect buyers and sellers? Now, for sellers, it's still advantageous for you. It's going to create multiple offer scenarios, higher selling prices, and really just an overall easier time selling your home. For buyers, it's just more of the same of what we've been experiencing so far. So you're more than likely still gonna get caught in those multiple offer scenarios where you're competing against other buyers for the same home. Plus, you're probably gonna have to be submitting offers that are for asking price or above. And basically, if there's any new listings that hit the market and they catch your eye at all, you're gonna have to act very quickly if you even want to try to get that house. Now let's move on to the listing prices on the Emerald Coast. Now again, as you can see from the chart on your screen, you'll see that the listing prices have remained relatively stable since September of 2021. The average median list price of homes on the Emerald Coast is at $550,000. Now moving into the next quarter, I actually kind of expect this to remain the same, maybe even slightly increasing should we see any more activity in the market during the summertime. Now, for any of our buyers and sellers, I would actually say this is some pretty decent news. For the sellers, you'll still be fetching really good prices for your homes. And for the buyers, at least you won't be seeing any drastic increases in prices for these homes. And for anyone that's maybe on the fence about buying or selling relatively soon, I would give it a serious thought on whether you actually want to. Now, obviously, if you're a buyer, you might really want to give it a thought because right now could be the cheapest time to buy, depending on how the market kind of turns out in the next quarter and following. For any of the sellers, again, we don't know if those prices are going to stay the same or shoot up. So you still want to give it a good thought on whether you want to buy or sell in the second quarter of 2022. Up next is absorption rate. Now, this is always an interesting metric to look at because it basically describes how quickly the current listings on the market will sell based on the sales trends from the last few months. As of February 2022, the absorption rate actually dipped beneath 1 month, which means that at the current rate of sales, it would take less than a month to have basically all the current active listings be sold on the market. Based on this trend, this rate will still continue to decrease. We'll probably see that number dip a little bit lower and potentially level out. Now, obviously for sellers, this is awesome news for you because it means you're selling your houses in almost no time at all, which is again, a huge thing for you. That means you can probably list it and within a few days have several offers and maybe even get it under contract. And for your buyers, it really just shows that's how hot and competitive this market is for you. Now let's move on to the final metric I'm going to talk about today, and that is the sold to list price. Now what that means is basically what the original list price was and then what the property actually sells for. Now everything at 100% means that the property sold for what it was originally listed for. Obviously anything below that means it's sold for less than the original listing price. Anything above means it's sold for more than the original listing price. In January, the sale to list ratio was 97.9, and in February it was 98.4. And unfortunately, March doesn't get posted until the 15th of the following month. So that one I would expect to be slightly higher, maybe between 99 and 100%. Now, obviously, this means that all the homes on the market are basically selling for what they're being listed for, which is obviously great news for a lot of people because it means that, the market is competitive. They're getting what they want for their homes. With that in mind, as we look forward to the second quarter of 2022, you could probably expect that number to either reach 100% or surpass it. I would say surpass it in my opinion, just because I think we're gonna get into the summer months where there's gonna be more listings. A lot of people are looking to buy again, where people are gonna be starting to get offer above listing prices. So I would say as we approach the second quarter and even beyond that, I think that sale to list ratio will surpass 100%. Now again, how does this affect sellers when they want to sell their home? Now obviously it's great news because they'll get what they want for their home. Now I will say before I move on that it is still vital that when you go to list your home that you price it correctly. There is nothing more important than have a correctly priced home listed on the market for the first time. Now for the buyers, this metric really only tells you that you're going to be putting in offers that are basically for asking price on any of the homes that you're probably going to want to purchase. This is kind of a good thing, kind of not. I would say it's a really neutral one. In my opinion, it's really going to offer you just a level of predictability that you're not necessarily, overthinking or underthinking your offers. When you work with your realtor, they'll be able to kind of tell you its actual value should the home not have been priced correctly. But for the most part in this market, since these homes are going for basically what they're being listed for originally, more or less, you're going to be putting in those for asking price offers. But again, at least it's offering that level of predictability when it comes to putting in offers in this market. Now overall, it's still very much a seller's market. All these metrics will seem to continue favoring sellers into the second quarter and maybe even beyond that. Now obviously I didn't go into a drastic amount of detail because I didn't want to bore you or just overload you with numbers and metrics that don't always make sense. So I just wanted to kind of give you that 10,000 foot view on where the market's at right now. So if you are a buyer or a seller, you kind of know what cards you have in your hand, for lack of a better phrase, I guess. Ultimately, I wanted to deliver this information in a very easy to understand way, so hopefully I was able to accomplish that. And lastly, before I go, just because it is a seller's market doesn't mean that buyers shouldn't buy. All this really shows is that you're gonna have to work a little bit harder. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult than perhaps what we'd like for anyone looking to purchase in 2022, but it doesn't mean give up. There's still plenty of opportunities out there, plenty of awesome houses that are going for a really good price that you can still get your hands on, should you find it at the right time. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video. I hope you enjoyed the information I presented. And if you have any questions, leave a comment. I'd love to answer them. Or if you are maybe looking to sell your home or want to finally start your home buying process, reach out to us. I'll leave our contact information right here. You can give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. And Sean and I would be happy to help in any way we can. And as always, I am Garrett with the O'Leary Brothers team, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.